The last thing I remember is the flash of cold blue light. Then, nothingness. I wake up, if this could be called waking up, floating in black space. No sound, no ground beneath me, just an overwhelming silence. I can't feel my body, just a strange hum pulsing through me, as if the memory of my own heartbeat was trying to mimic life in this void. My name is Eli Martin, or at least I think it is. Memory feels slippery here, pieces floating around just out of reach. I struggle to recall, to pull together fragments of my life before all of this. Earth. Yes, I see it, flash frozen in my mind's eye, those last desperate days. The Sylph had come out of nowhere, an invasion by creatures we had barely a chance to see or understand. They arrived in enormous silent ships, floating over cities like monoliths. They never spoke, never made demands. They simply appeared and began to harvest us, one by one, in beams of that same cold blue light. People vanished, leaving only a hollow silence in their wake. And then it was my turn. I try to shake off the memory, pulling myself back to the present, or whatever this place is. The sensation of weightlessness is endless. I drift, trying to gauge time, but that's a meaningless concept here. It could have been minutes, hours, or years. Somewhere in this silent space, something else stirs. A faint whisper drifts to me, barely perceptible, but it's there. Words, garbled and weak, the voice of another, human. My heart, well, the memory of a heartbeat, quickens. I strain my mind, reaching out in a way I can't quite describe, trying to catch hold of that voice. Hello? I call out, my own voice echoing back to me strangely, as if the space itself were trying to swallow it. The response is faint, a collection of garbled words that fade almost as soon as they reach me. But it's enough. I'm not alone. Over the next stretch of time, I guess, more whispers drift through the void. Some are clearer, fragments of phrases, half-formed thoughts, memories. I find myself surrounded by voices, yet none that I can fully understand. They're like echoes, disembodied memories of people long lost. For a moment, the terror I felt on Earth returns, seizing me with the cold realization that I might be nothing more than a shadow of my former self. A ghost trapped in a machine. Then, just when I think I might lose my grip entirely, I feel something new, a tear in the black space around me, like a thin crack of light. I reach for it instinctively, drawn to the faintest glimmer of something real, something human. As I move toward the crack, it widens, just a bit. I feel the rush of something that isn't part of this void, air, the smell of rain, trees. It's gone before I can grasp it fully, but it was there. A flicker of the outside world. I focus on that feeling, willing the crack to open wider. For a fleeting moment, I feel a connection, like I'm on the edge of something bigger. Maybe it's hope, a word that feels almost foreign in this space, but I can't let it go. Not now. Is anyone there? I call again, louder this time, hoping the other voices will hear me. The silence swells, pressing in. Then a response comes, faint but unmistakable. Yes, here, the voice whispers. More follow, joining it in ragged succession, other consciousnesses, other people, realizing they are not alone either. Their words blend, fractured, some in languages I don't recognize, but they are clear enough. We're all trapped in this endless night, pieces of a puzzle trying to find where we belong. Someone, a woman with a crisp, steady voice, manages to make herself clear over the others. My name's Lina. Where are we? What did they do to us? They uploaded us, I say, my voice sounding flat, even to myself. Into this. She takes a breath, and I hear her fear in the silence that follows. They ripped our bodies away. But why keep us here? Another voice breaks in, sharp with anger. What are they getting out of this? I don't know, I admit, but I saw a glitch, something outside of this darkness. If we can get to it, maybe we can find out what they're hiding from us. Maybe we can find a way to break out of here. A murmur ripples through the group, disbelief mingling with hope. Lina's voice cuts through the noise again. If there's a way to reach the outside, we have to try. A new determination fills me, a steady pulse against the dread that's been hovering over me since I arrived in this place. I take a breath, or at least the memory of one. I don't know what we're up against, but whatever it is, I'm not facing it alone. I'm ready. We're ready. We may be just shadows now, fragments of the people we once were, but we're still human, and we're still here. The crack in the void is gone, but the memory of it lingers, a lifeline that keeps us tethered to something real. Can you find it again? Lena asks, her voice steady but laced with the same urgency I feel. I'll try, I say, trying to focus on the exact place I'd felt the tear. It was faint, just a flicker of something that didn't belong here. But if I found it once, maybe I can again. I push against the emptiness with my mind, trying to will the glitch back into existence. Around me, the others gather, focusing their thoughts too, each one straining to reach something they can barely understand. A strange sensation spreads through the void, like static prickling along invisible wires. And then the crack appears, a faint, fragile seam of light in the endless black. But this time, it doesn't vanish. Instead, it pulses softly, like it's responding to us. There it is, I say, keeping my voice calm, though my mind races with 1,000 questions. What is this thing, this opening? Could it lead outside? Could it somehow let us take control of this prison? The light widens, a sliver revealing more details, twisted shapes, streams of code, lines pulsing like veins in an alien organism. We're looking directly into the Silth system. I don't understand what I'm seeing, but it feels alive, like a beating heart, cold and mechanical. We're looking at part of their network, I think, I whisper. Maybe if we can understand it, we can figure out how to disrupt it. One of the voices around me speaks up, low and cautious. But how can we affect something we can't even touch? I don't have an answer. But then I realize that in a way, I am touching it. This crack, this seam of light exists because we made it. Our minds, I say slowly. We made this happen. If we can tear open this crack, maybe we can manipulate other parts of this system too. It's risky, but I see no other way forward. We start experimenting, pushing and pulling at the edges of the glitch, trying to stretch it, make it respond. I focus as hard as I can, imagining the light widening, imagining the pulse becoming a steady, controlled beat. It starts to work. The crack opens wider, letting in more streams of light, like digital arteries woven into the darkness. Each line pulses with a different color, some shimmering with cold blue light, others glowing faintly green, like alien veins spreading into the void. We're creating something, I murmur, almost afraid to believe it. And just as quickly, a figure materializes from the dark, coalescing like mist into a solid shape. It's the first clear image of another person I've seen here, his face lined and worn, with eyes that pierce right through me. He stands there, looking around with the cautious suspicion of someone who's seen the worst. "My name's Marco," he says. "I've been in this darkness a long time. What did you do?" I explain what we've done so far, my voice sounding almost foreign as I speak. Marco's gaze sharpens, his eyes flickering with interest and a hint of something else, determination. "If we can stretch this tier, we might be able to pull through more of their system." Another voice chimes in, tentative but hopeful. "You mean create a network of our own?" Marco nods, his focus sharp. "If we can create enough of these cracks, we might form spaces they can't control. Safe zones, maybe even spaces where we can communicate without interference." Linar's voice is clear and confident. "Then we need to recruit more of us, find others who can help keep this open." Over the next stretch of time, which still feels endless in this strange dimensionless space, we search for other voices, other drifting minds who might be willing to resist. Some are afraid, reluctant to push back against whatever monstrous force put us here, but others respond eagerly, stirred by a glimmer of hope they'd long forgotten. Little by little, our group grows, and with each mind added to the task, the tier widens, the light spilling out in greater streams. We form nodes, pockets of space where we can hear each other clearly. We exchange names, fragmented stories of the lives we used to have. Slowly, we learn to work in unison, blending our thoughts to open new cracks, connecting different streams to create a fragile network within the void. One day, Marco calls out in a voice that reaches all of us. "Everyone, come see this." We gather around him, feeling the pulse of energy radiating from a new opening he's created. Inside, I catch sight of something shocking, a flicker of movement in the real world. Human figures, working in long lines beneath a cold, alien sky guarded by Silth machinery. They look alive, bodies intact, but something is off. They move slowly, blank expressions on their faces, empty eyes fixed ahead as if they don't see anything around them. "They're like drones," Lina whispers. "Exactly," Marco replies. "Their minds are in here like ours, but their bodies are being controlled, harvested. The Silth didn't just trap us, they're using us." A wave of fury ripples through our group. We're not just prisoners. We're slaves, harvested for a purpose we don't understand. The thought of those blank, hollow faces, moving with mechanical obedience, sends a chill through me. I can feel the anger, the horror, the desire for freedom burning in each of us. We have to find a way to break through, I say, my voice harder than I intended, to reach them, to let them know we're still here. And for the first time, the others respond with a shared sense of purpose, a collective resolve that feels almost like strength. Together we expand the crack, pushing it wider, stretching it until we can feel the threads of the Silth system starting to strain under our combined will. The darkness around us pulses, as if the system is trying to close the cracks we're creating, but we keep pushing back, refusing to let it swallow us again. We'll figure it out, Marco says, his voice firm. One crack at a time. In that moment, I feel something I haven't felt in a long time. Hope. The first wave of Silth hunters arrives with a vengeance. The light fractures, sending sudden bursts of static across the void, interrupting the steady rhythm of our makeshift network. I can feel it. Something pressing in, hard and relentless, trying to force the cracks shut, trying to seal us away from each other. Hold it, I shout, feeling the others gather around me in shared desperation. The darkness trembles under the Silth's assault. I can feel their hunters now, like faint, chilling presences that slip in and out of the cracks we've worked so hard to create. The hunters look almost human in shape, but there's a wrongness about them. Their features are indistinct, like shadows that haven't fully formed. They move with an unnatural fluidity, slipping in and out of sight, warping around us like ghosts. And one thing is clear. They're here to destroy any trace of our fragile resistance. They're trying to shut us down. Linar's voice comes through, sharp and determined. They know what we're doing. We can't let them close us off, Marco growls, his voice full of grit. Push back. Focus on holding the cracks open. Keep your minds steady. It's a strange kind of battle, unlike anything I'd known before. There's no gun, no shield to raise, only pure will, the raw strength of our collective consciousness fighting against the cold intelligence of the Silth's digital hunters. I press my thoughts outward, imagining the cracks widening, pushing back the hunters' invasive presence. The hunters react immediately, targeting the weaker among us first. One by one, I feel members of our network fading, voices growing faint as the hunters zero in, isolating them, cutting them off. Each one who falls makes the cracks flicker and weaken, and I can feel our grip slipping. No, I murmur, trying to keep my focus. But the hunter's force is brutal, crushing. I feel my own strength starting to waver, the pulse of the light dimming as I fight to keep it open. Linar's voice reaches out like a firm hand gripping mine. Stay with me, Ile. Don't let them break you. I focus on her voice, using it like an anchor, steadying myself as the hunters close in. In my mind's eye, I imagine myself standing with her, Marco, and the others, holding back the darkness, forcing the cracks to stay open. Together, we push against the hunters, refusing to give an inch. And then I notice something, a strange feeling in the air around us. It's faint, but unmistakable, a surge of energy. It's not coming from us, but from the Silth system itself. I can feel the pulse of their network, the flow of data, the energy coursing through it like veins. For the first time, I understand, we're not just inside a prison. We're inside a living, connected system. If we can figure out how to tap into that energy, we might be able to turn it against them. Wait, I say, a sudden realization dawning on me. We can use this. The system, they're using energy to keep us contained. If we can channel it, redirect it, we might be able to fight back. Marco catches on quickly. You mean turn their own system against them? Exactly. It's risky, but we don't have another choice. Working together, we start focusing on the energy coursing through the system, trying to synchronize our minds with its rhythm. I focus on the pulse, imagining it as a flow, a tide we can harness. I can feel the others doing the same, each of us aligning with the system's energy, trying to draw it in, to channel it. At first, nothing happens. The hunters continue to press down on us, their shadows growing darker, more oppressive. I feel like I'm drowning, sinking deeper into the void. But just as I think I can't hold on any longer, I feel it. A surge of energy, sharp and electric, flooding through me. The others feel it too. I can sense their minds flaring with newfound strength, a shared force that ripples through our network. We're tapping into the system now, pulling its energy into our own minds, using it to strengthen the cracks, to fight back against the hunters. With our newfound power, we push harder, forcing the hunters back. I focus on one of them, imagining it dissolving, breaking apart into fragments. The shadow figure shudders, flickers, and then vanishes, its form scattering like dust. Around me, the others do the same, driving the hunters back one by one, pushing them out of our space. For the first time, we're not just surviving, we're fighting back. As the last hunter retreats, I feel a sense of exhilaration, a rush of triumph that surges through our network. We've won this battle, but I know it's far from over. The Sylph will send more hunters, stronger ones, and they'll stop at nothing to keep us contained. But now we have a weapon of our own. We know how to tap into their energy, how to turn their system against them. Everyone listen up, I say, my voice ringing with new determination. We've only just begun. We're going to find every crack, every weak point, and we're going to tear this system apart from the inside. We won't stop until we're free. Linar's voice joins mine, steady and fierce. They made a mistake putting us in here. They gave us access to their own power. We're going to use it to make sure they never forget us. And for the first time, I feel a new kind of strength, a shared, collective power born from the minds of every human here. We may be trapped in a digital world, but our spirits are unbreakable, and now we have a weapon that even the Sylph can't ignore. As we regroup, I feel the pulse of the system around us, steady and strong. We're no longer just prisoners, we're warriors, fighting from the inside, turning the Sylph's own prison into our battleground. And we're only getting started. The cracks in the system have become more than just glitches. They're our stronghold now, our base of operations. We've turned them into channels, flowing with the energy we've hijacked from the Sylph's own network, and every day we expand them just a little more. Each new fissure we create widens our reach, bringing us closer to full control. Today we're attempting our most ambitious strike yet. Everyone ready? I ask, feeling the hum of anticipation ripple through our makeshift network. Marco's voice comes back, steady and sure. As ready as we're going to be. You're sure we can handle this much energy? No, I say honestly, but it's the only way to reach the mainframe. If we can get a foothold there, we'll have access to their core systems. Linar's voice cuts through, calm but determined. If we get into the mainframe, we can disrupt their entire operation. Every command, every control link they have over our bodies, they all flow through that point. That thought drives me forward, a fierce need to reach the humans still trapped in their bodies, to see the empty-eyed husks of my people filled with life once more. We can't stay like this, voices drifting in darkness. We need to do this, not just for ourselves, but for everyone still out there, unknowingly chained to this same monstrous machine. The system around us throbs with a low hum, alerting us that the Sylph are sending reinforcements. If we're going to pull this off, it has to be now. Let's do this, I say, and we begin. Focusing our combined energy, we direct it toward the system's central hub, the place where we've seen the largest concentration of activity. The air around us thickens with tension as we push forward, channeling as much of the Sylph's own energy as we can hold. It's like trying to control a storm, each of us barely containing the surge as we drive it into the heart of the system. Suddenly, a blinding flash erupts in the void, and I feel something give. The crack widens, splitting open to reveal the Sylph's mainframe, a swirling core of data streams pulsing with alien code and raw, thrumming power. It's beautiful in a way, mesmerizing and terrifying all at once. It's also vulnerable, wide open and exposed. Now! Marco shouts, and we pour everything we have into it, a relentless assault of concentrated thought and energy. The mainframe resists at first, the alien code pushing back, struggling to close the breach we've created. But we hold firm, our collective will overpowering the system's defenses. One by one, we break down the firewalls, the barriers that hold us back, ripping apart the threads that keep our consciousnesses in this prison. And then, something amazing happens. The core begins to yield, segments of code breaking down, fragments scattering. The mainframe is no longer a seamless flow of alien data. It's a chaotic mess, pieces of its structure flickering and collapsing. It's working, Linar says, her voice breathless with excitement. We're inside. The moment we break through, a flood of new sensations fills my mind. Images, sounds, voices, real voices. I see humans in the physical world, still trapped in their bodies, some with faces blank and expressionless, others starting to stir, sensing something is happening. I realize that, through this breach, we've created a connection not just to the mainframe, but to the humans outside. We're going to send them a message, I say, the idea coming to me in a flash. Let them know we're still here. Concentrating, I send a thought out through the network, a single, clear message that will reach every human still linked to the system. We're still here. Resist. In the physical world, I see people react. A woman's eyes snap open, no longer glazed but wide with awareness. A man stumbles, looking around as if seeing his surroundings for the first time. The faintest spark of life returns to them, a signal that we've broken through the Sylph's control. All around me, the people in our network follow my lead, sending their own thoughts, their own messages of resistance, each one adding to the surge of hope. Look at them, Lena murmurs, awe in her voice. They're waking up. The Sylph must sense what's happening, because the mainframe shudders, trying to close the breach, to seal us out again. But we're stronger now. The humans in the physical world begin to move, breaking formation, refusing to obey the commands forced upon them. A collective rebellion, powered by our digital resistance, ignites in real time. Through the breach, I catch glimpses of Sylph drones moving in to contain the humans, the alien machines trying to restore order. But the humans fight back with a ferocity I haven't seen since the early days of the invasion. It's chaotic, but it's beautiful. In the void, the mainframe convulses, attempting a final desperate counterattack. I feel the presence of more hunters, their shadows circling us, pushing into the breach, trying to take control again. This time, though, we're ready. Our minds are one, united and unyielding. Together, we focus all our remaining energy on the mainframe, pouring every ounce of willpower, every shred of resistance, into a single strike. The hunters waver, their forms flickering, their control breaking under the weight of our combined strength. The mainframe fractures, code splintering and scattering, fragments of the system collapsing around us. And then, in a blinding flash, the mainframe implodes. The hunters disappear, their shadows swallowed by the void as the last remnants of the Sylph's control collapse. A strange silence settles over us, the kind of silence that feels like an ending and a beginning all at once. I can still feel the others, but the tension has lifted. We're free. Did we do it? Someone asks, their voice hesitant, almost afraid to believe it. Yes, I say, feeling a rush of triumph. We did it. Through the breach, I see humans moving freely, their bodies no longer controlled, their eyes clear and aware. They're looking around, seeing each other. Understanding that the nightmare is finally over, a wave of emotion hits me, a mix of relief, joy, and a sense of pride that I can feel radiating from everyone in our network. We're no longer just souls trapped in metal, we're warriors who fought and won. We'll watch over them, Marco says softly, his voice filled with quiet resolve. We may never return to our bodies, but we'll stay here, make sure the Sylph never come back. Linar's voice echoes his sentiment, fierce and unwavering. We're their guardians now. As the network around us stabilizes, I feel a strange sense of peace. We may be digital echoes, but we've proven something. Humanity's spirit cannot be broken, not by the Sylph, not by anyone. We've taken this virtual world and made it ours, a place of strength and resistance. In the end, we've become something more than just memories or shadows. We're the voices that will guide humanity forward, the protectors who will ensure they never fall under the Sylph's control again. I take a last look at the humans outside, watching as they move with newfound freedom, hope burning bright in their eyes. And with that, I let my final message echo through the network, a promise and a reminder. We are still here, and we are free. The virtual space we inhabit now is nothing like the dark void it once was. The cracks, the threads of light, the pulses of energy, all of it has transformed, woven together into a complex, living network we control. Each of us in the Resistance has a role now, a place in this digital fortress we've built from the wreckage of the Sylph's system. As I survey our domain, I feel a mix of satisfaction and a strange sort of sorrow. I know that for me, and for most of us, there will be no return to the physical world. Our bodies are gone, harvested, or beyond recovery. We've left something behind that we'll never reclaim. But in the end, we chose to stay for a reason. Report from the outside, Marco's voice echoes through the network, his tone tinged with pride. The humans are rebuilding. They're organizing themselves, starting to dismantle the Sylph technology we destroyed. From the vantage points we created, we watch as humanity rises from the ashes. People are gathering, faces filled with a determined light. They're learning, adapting quickly to the remains of Sylph technology left behind. Teams of engineers and former scientists study every bit of alien tech they can find, reverse engineering it, repurposing it, transforming it into tools for humanity's future. They're incredible, Lena says beside me, stripped of everything, and still, they're already rebuilding. Humanity doesn't stay broken for long, I reply, feeling a swell of pride. Our connection to the physical world isn't just passive observation anymore. We've figured out how to interface with certain Sylph systems still embedded on Earth, repurposing them to monitor the planet and the skies beyond. We are the Guardians now, invisible sentinels keeping watch, ready to send a warning if any trace of the Sylph or another threat appears. But today, we're not just watching. We've managed to rout one of their transmissions, Marco reports, excitement clear in his voice. There's a satellite still orbiting Earth that's Sylph tech. I think we can send a message through it, reach anyone out there who might still be wondering if we're alive. I focus on the satellite, feeling the connection spark. A tiny beacon in orbit above Earth. The Sylph hadn't used it for communication in ages. It was designed to scan, monitor Earth's population, keep track of the control they once held over humanity. Now, it's ours. Lenar's voice is clear and resolute. Let's send them a message they'll never forget. We all gather, channeling our thoughts, each of us feeding into the signal. Together we form a message, a transmission designed to reach any human, any ally beyond Earth who might have seen the devastation and wondered if humanity still had a spark left. And then, in a single pulse, we send it out. Earth is free. Humanity endures. The message echoes, rippling across the skies. There's no telling how far it will travel, no way of knowing who might intercept it. But for the first time since this battle began, I feel an undeniable certainty that we've done what we came here to do. Think they'll hear it? Marco asks, his voice soft, almost hesitant. Someone will, I say, and even if they don't, we know. Around us, the network pulses with energy, alive with purpose. This digital fortress is our new home, a place we've chosen to protect and defend. We may not be able to stand on the ground we once called home, but we are here, watching, waiting, ready to safeguard the future we fought so hard to make possible. A moment of silence settles over us, an unspoken acknowledgement of everything we've lost, everything we've become. We are no longer just fragments, shadows of people we used to be. We are the Sentinels, the Guardians of Earth, and we are free. In the days that follow, we continue watching over Earth, adjusting to the rhythm of this strange existence, guiding humanity forward as they learn to rebuild and to thrive. The Sylph are gone, but the legacy they left behind, the knowledge, the technology, now belongs to us. For the first time, I feel a strange sense of peace, knowing that we've forged something new from the darkness. We are no longer bound by the past. We are the protectors of Earth's future. As I settle into my role, I hear one final whisper from the humans outside, a message that brings a sense of closure, a reminder of everything we've fought for. It's the voice of a young girl, her words drifting up to us through the digital fortress we built. Thank you. I smile, letting the words echo through me, a promise that everything we endured wasn't for nothing. We have become something more than human, something stronger, forged from loss and resilience. We are still here, and we are free.